Tough Mudder, the UK's muddiest obstacle course. In 2019, I decided to test myself and attempt this challenge. This is a 5k long obstacle course with 13 obstacles, and it all starts here, doing a bit of a cringe warm up and then doing the Tough Mudder pledge. After that, the flame is up and we begin running. In the pledge, we agreed that this wasn't a race. However, I didn't want to hang at the back, so I jogged slightly faster than everyone else, so that's why there isn't many people here. The first obstacle we come across is called the Hero Walls. For this, there are 3 large walls that you have to make your way over, and it's not as easy as it may look. Having more than one person would make this easier, or just asking someone for help, but I decided to try and get over this as quick as possible. The first wall was alright, not too hard, gave this guy a hand. And then the second one got harder, but I managed to get straight up and over it without too many issues.
Here. Alright. I got you. You okay?
And then onto the third one, where you should probably do this with 2 people. But I just threw myself at the wall, and to my surprise I made it over without any issues.
You alright? You got it? You jumping up first? You got it. Come on up.
The second obstacle was Everest. For this is a skateboard ramp, but you have to run up it and hope that people at the top will catch you. I managed to do this first time, kind of hurt my arm there, I won't lie.
Good effort, mate. Cheers, lads.
And then we was back on our way again. The third obstacle was called the Hero Carry. For this, it's a piggyback ride, but I literally had no one to do it with and there was no one around, so I just carried on running. And then we get to the next one, which is called Devil's Beard. For this, it was a very heavy net that was above you and you had to crawl through to get to the other side. Fairly simple, just a lot of people at the same time trying to do it. Carrying on upwards, we make it to the boa constrictor. This is probably the go-to example for what Tough Mudder is all about. First, you need to crawl through this tub downwards into a small pool of muddy water and then use a rope to pull yourself back up through another thin black tube.
Whoa.
Yeah, that'll do you.
With the constrictor done, we make our way to the Kiss of Mud, the beginning of the muddiest state you'll be. Yes, that's barbed wire, and yes, you have to get real low in the mud to not hurt yourself. Yet, there's these little stones and pebbles in the mud, and as you crawl through it, absolutely killed. With that done though, we carry on upwards towards the Loch Ness Monster. This one is used in a lot of the promos for Tough Mudder. You get into a muddy pool, not too shallow, but I'm small, so I was barely able to keep my head above the water. And then with all your weight, you need to try and get over these rotating triangles, like a giant Toblerone. After After the blockness monster comes the peak of Tough Mudder, the Mud Miles. Because I was doing the 5k Tough Mudder, we only do Mud Mile 1 and then the second one straight after. For this, it's just pure mud and you have no choice but to get absolutely filthy. So much so you can barely see what happens because the mud is so thick and I couldn't get off the GoPro for a while. After using the strap and some clean, non-muddy grass, you can see the state that it left me in, and then we make our way down to the alpha test. These walls have like little blocks on there for you to hold on to get across. If you fall off, you can restart or just carry on. One wall was straight and the other was kind of slanted, so the slanted one is harder. I chose to do the latter, which meant there was a queue, so if I fell off then I'll just carry on afterwards.
Steven, just get back and try again. No, try again. The queue's not big, is it?
Oh, fuck. Oh, fucking hell. That is tough.
So after the heroic attempt at the alpha test, where I nearly made it a quarter of the way, we stopped off at a water station and they had flapjack.
Oh, yes, please. Thank you.
Okay,
No, it might take two then.
Thank you very much. Then we carry on making our way down to the Texas Holdem. For this you have to have a partner, so I managed to find one and make our way across these boards. I found myself a good partner as well and we flew through it. Then we head over to roughly here for the Creek Crusade, which is literally a river of muddy water that you walk through.
So there's not much to see, so we move on to the Hydrophobia. For this is just basically a pool of water and you got to swim underneath the water under these giant sort of barrels.
We move on to the pyramid scheme. For this you need to walk up a somewhat sort of skateboard ramp with a rope. Sounds easy, but I'm very wet and slippy and it would hurt both my legs, but more importantly my pride if I fell over in front of everyone. After that amazing ascend, we then head down a rope to the very last obstacle, the Mudder Horn. This is the last test. For this we need to climb up and back down again this giant triangle pyramid, I suppose you could call it. There's a lot of people doing it, which makes it a little bit longer, but ultimately it's pretty simple. But by this point I'm absolutely knackered because it's not just doing obstacles, it's a 5k run as well.
On, we don't need to be getting away with it. Definitely on. As soon as you're ready, you can go, pick a spot that looks good, and run through it. Okay, nice. As soon as it's clear, go for it. The quicker you do it, the quicker it's all over, and you'll be heading to the finish line.
Oh, fuck.
Have you done a half? 5k?
5k.
Have you done 5k?
Well done, buddy.
Cheers, man.
Oh, probably.
Thank you.
No worries.
Oh, gee.
Well done.
Thank you.
Well done.
Thank you, cheers. Do you have a medium?
Yeah, we got medium.
Mediums here. They are quite big.
Medium.
Medium, yeah.
Yes, please. Thanks. Cheers.
Large,
Oh, sorry, mate. Oh, yes. Snack. Thank you. Oh. Do you have a orange? You got orange.
Return to Sunday, Caribbean Burst.
Caribbean Bush, yeah. Cheers. Thanks, man. Thanks. Cheers.
And with that, we are done. Overall, the Tough Mudder was an awesome experience and I'd recommend it to anyone. Like I said, this was only the 5k one. They also do a 10k one for those who are fitter than me. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to leave a like. Subscribe if you're new around here with notifications on so you don't miss another video from me. And I'll see you next week for another video. Bye.